was there one or maybe one or two sort of defining moments for you?
As far as like seeing
As far as
myself
who
in
you are
ministry is
today.
who I am today.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think that the first one would be the conversation that we've had about my mom and saying that I have the best of both worlds. That absolutely defined who I was, because even to this day, I'm still having people that are saying things as a grown woman, still challenging me and saying things about my race and ethnicity, and realizing that I can just let it roll off my back because that is not my issue or my problem, right?
Yeah.
So stand proud and tall. When I go and I speak and train and do things with teenagers, I resonate. I bring that story in and talk about how proud I am to be what I am, and hoping that they will receive that as well.
That's good.
Let's see. Let me open up this book.
Well, let me piggyback on that a little bit, because I think that's a great lesson for our leaders too, that for you to say that a conversation was a defining moment in your life is a pretty big deal, right?
And to remember the conversation.
And then to have it impact you and resonate with you your whole life. I think sometimes we don't recognize the value of our words. And when we speak life over people versus when we speak death over people. I know that in my marriage and our family, this has been a really big deal for us, that with my 3 kids, we always spoke life over them, right? We always said things to them that was who we talked about them. One of my favorite stories in scripture is the story of Gideon, and how he's, God is calling him, right, to this army. But I love it because he addresses Gideon not as who Gideon is now, but as who Gideon is going to become, when he says, "Hey, mighty man of valor." And at the time, Gideon didn't think that of himself. So I want to, again, for our leaders out there, I think it's really important. Your words matter. And as you're working with kids, as you're doing life with them, be very, very both careful and intentional about the words that you use and what you speak into their life, because you might have the next Amy Williams who hears one simple conversation that can change the trajectory of their life.
Your entire life. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's why I love that you just said to be intentional with what you say. When I go into the prison, I make sure that when those kids see me, that I'm hope for them, that I'm speaking that, and that when I see them, I light up.
Yeah.
So that they know that someone sees you, is excited to see you, cares for you, So when light up, there's a quote by Maya Angelou. I can't remember it exactly, but it talks about how does a child feel when they walk into a room that you're in? Do you light up? Because they remember that. Yeah. Right. And so being intentional with just the way that you simply greet a person.
Sure.
I talk about in my book one time walking and seeing a kid who had his head down, and I spoke to him and said hello, and he didn't know how to react and respond. And so he turned around and was like, "Excuse me, but thanks for speaking to me," because nobody ever does that.
Wow.
Right? Like
something
words,
so simple.
Something so simple as a hello, I see you. And that's, I think, mostly what the book is about, are the stories of seeing.
Yeah. I don't remember who you quoted in there, but one of the things you said that I really love was that these kids are used to being watched but not seen.
Yes, Father Greg Boyle.
Oh, was that a Greg Boyle? Okay.
Yes.
That, when I read that, I was like, wow, like almost in a moment, I could see their whole life experience.
Exactly.
That they're just used to people watching them but never seeing them.